It's the Slam Dunk.
Now, answer me this. Does someone who's been going to a gym have more rights and entitlements as a member than, say, you might if you've only been going for 1 year? So if this member's been going for 20 years and you've been going for 1 year, do they have more rights? Well, not that I'm aware of. Well, certainly not at places like the YMCA where it's apparently about community and everyone is welcome. Well, I've been a bit rattled by this today, but this afternoon my faith in us still having the same rights and no one being better than the next person was shattered when I took my son and 5 of his mates into the Mount Albert YMCA. We have all been going there since March. When I came back from Sleepy Treasure Island, I thought better join the gym, get fitter. And my son and his mates all came along too. So we're all paid up members. And let me explain this. In the area where they do the classes, the classes, it was empty. And it is up until 5:30 in the afternoon. So we set up some mats and engaged in training the boys to wrestle and use their strength. They all play rugby, so it's a good exercise. They're learning to wrestle the right way and that sort of thing. It's 5 p.m. and we're aware that the class starts at 5:30 and we would be well gone by then. Now, a very uptight woman called Karen, that's her real name, who we find out takes the class into the room and, man, she was angry and cold and refused to engage when I asked what time she would like us out. She, I don't know if she's probably a baby boomer, but boy, she was so offended that we were in her space, despite the staff telling us that we were welcome to be there until 5:30, although another staff member told us 5:15, so that's fine. Whatever it was, we were happy to go when we needed to go. But she refused to engage with me. I asked her, what time she refused to engage. Huffed and puffed and went and complained to staff about my boys and myself being in there. No need to complain. All she needed to do was say, "Hi, can you please be out by 5:15 as my people arrive?" And I'd say, "Sure, no worries, we can go early if you want." End of story. But she was offended that someone else could be in her space. How could this happen? So she complained, and despite staff telling us we could be there, we were moved out on the spot, just like that, 26 minutes before the class began. She told me she had never had to put up with this sort of behaviour in 20 long years of being there. 20 years I've been here, she said. And there it was, entitlement, up her own backside. And that's why I'm speaking out about this. I'm sick of it. This woman who refused to do the most simple of things and engage with me as the boys' supervisor, I suppose, in the room. Could I ask you to leave shortly? Of course, no problems. I'm not a difficult person. I love it there. We have a good time there. But she decided to escalate this, and she thought that she should not be there if we were there. So we had to go. She saw a bunch of teenage boys and was dismissive, and clearly they were well below her social status and her right to occupy. She's been there 20 years. 20 years I've been there, and I still read this. I was so pissed off. My boys don't smoke, they don't vape, they don't drink, nor are they truant. They're good boys who go to the gym after school every day to be better people. It's their community gym. This is where we hang out. She had no right to trample over us and leave us feeling like shit. I've never experienced such a cold and brutally socially inept, entitled person in my life like I have this afternoon. And I met some doozies. Her entitlement was shocking. She was better than us, and one of her attendees, who wasn't there at the time, later came up to me, an older woman, saying that she was disgusted at me, as she'd been there 25 years. I almost said, "Well, Māori, you've been here 800 years. Can they have the land back that the gym sits on?" I didn't want to be too smart-ass about this. But I've been rattled by this woman all afternoon, and when I left the gym, I left my son in there and his mates, and seeing I wasn't there, she then targeted him, went up to him, into his face, and called him a smart-ass. He never said a word. How cowardly, waiting for me to leave. That really pissed me off. We have issues in this country. We've retreated to our respective corners. We're angry, and we can avoid this by merely just communicating properly, by talking properly. She arrived in the gym at 5 p.m. Can you leave within 15 minutes, please? Would have done it. "Hi, g'day, do you mind if you boys leave in 15? Fine, no problems. But she huffed and puffed and marched around like Hitler. Complained and sent one of her male attendees to try and intimidate me. I told him his involvement would be a mistake. I just calmly said that. Sorry, mate. No. Collectively, between the 6 of us affected by this, we pay close to $100 a week to be members. Tonight, I'm going to lodge a complaint. I hate conflict like this, but bugger it, and I'm speaking out about it. Bugger it. Bugger it, so the entitlement thing is why I'm a journalist. It's why I set myself up as a journalist, because the authority and the entitlement I can't stand. Sometimes you got to draw a line in the sand when people refuse even the most basic of manners and escalate it far beyond the place that it needs to be at. Why treat these boys like that? What have they done wrong? Why can't you communicate properly? And why do you think you have more rights than anyone else because you've been there 20 years? Karen, you're a bully. A terrible, unattractive, mean-spirited bully who normally wouldn't see the light of day on this podcast, but sometimes you've got to call it on my plonker rankings, and you've hit number 1, and there's more to come. Entitlement is an ugly, ugly disease, folks. Push back on it every time, and entitled bullies, I think, are even worse. I'm not proud of what I called you, but I stand by it. We're the adults, Karen. I want to sit down around the table with my boys and you to resolve this, but I bet you won't lower yourself to join us.
Duncan, Garner, live.